Hey everyone, it's Skyler,
And it's Tyler.
and welcome to episode 6 of Bird Talk.
So on this episode, we have a new member to the team, Katerina. She lived in Phoenix, Arizona. She was on another FRC team, but also in elementary, she was on an FLL team. So she's been a part of First for a while.
So, Katerina, thank you for joining us.
I'm happy to be here.
Let's just start off with some basic. So when did you move here and how are you liking it?
Well, I moved here around the end of November, but I transferred schools January. So far, it's a lot different from where I came from. A lot of
Different how?
school-wise or city-wise. There's a lot to talk about involved.
Both. What are some the big differences, like the ones that are like the ones that took the most time to get used to, kind of thing?
The streets. It takes a lot longer to get everywhere here. Where, to get to a store that's 2 miles away, it somehow takes us 10 minutes. I don't know how that happens, because when Arizona, you go a couple miles and you're there in like 3. So it's just a lot faster. Also, school. The school's a lot bigger.
How big was your old school?
It was just one building and it was 2 stories. It's not a small building, but doing the tour on Friday, it was just, okay, here's there, and all my classes are across the campus, so it's lots of walking.
No, there is a school that's set up in 2-story style, but it's not us. It's not our school.
Oh.
You'll get used to it though. It is kind of a weird, I remember even just switching from like the middle school here to high school, it was pretty strange, the setup. They're similar, but like it was definitely, and like switching from elementary school to like middle school, high school, super strange. Really, it's very weird.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm a freshman, so, I haven't even been to high school technically yet.
Yeah. Okay, so Tyler said earlier you were on an FRC team in Arizona. So what was your team name? What was the number?
The name of the team is Pridetronics. It's Pridetronics. Like a pride of lions.
Yes, okay, cool, yeah.
Okay.
That's a cool name. All right. I just was like making sure I heard it properly. Sorry.
I get it.
How's your team like organized basically?
So our team was 2 main groups. You had your business side and your engineering side. So business president, engineering president kind of work together. For business, we had like a media lead, spirit, outreach, fundraising, just a couple different groups. I was the spirit lead this year. And then engineering side was build, programming, electrical. We have a 3D, but they're a little smaller, so often they're just kind of pushed in with build, and we have a 3D specialist.
3D like CAD?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We just called it 3D.
So you guys had like president for the like heads kind of thing?
Yes, we had 2 presidents. We'd elect them at the end of the year. They'd give speeches on why they should be the president, and we're like, okay. And so we'd vote for who we want.
The students chose the leaders?
Yeah, it was a mini democracy, I suppose. And then the presidents would get elected at the end of the year, and then the beginning of the year, they'd have interviews with whoever wanted to be leads of this like subgroups. So we do 20-minute interviews, and you talk about, okay, well, give them a resume and a cover letter. Then you say, this is why I'm fit for this position, and they'd converse. And
yeah, pretty similar to us.
Yeah, we don't have I mean, we have our chiefs instead of presidents, but
we have 4 of them.
Yeah, but like we, instead of leads, it's your guys' leads would be the equivalent of our director positions, which are under the chiefs. And chiefs and directors, they would interview in the same way that your leads would.
Yeah.
And how is, like, obviously you're super, super new to the team, but like how so far, like what are some of, besides leadership structure, I guess, like how is it compared to your old team so far?
I've noticed that, I don't know what you guys call it, really, I haven't remembered, but like your business side is a lot.
IR.
Yes,
it's based off of, just so you know, it's ST, just like you, we have like the business side and your old team, like in the engineering side, and engineering is ST, science and technology. IR is, it's technically inspiration and recognition. So I mean, sometimes we call it FIR because it's a play on the first name. So it's like for inspiration and recognition kind of thing. But yeah.
So the IR seems to be a little more spread out than our business team was. We didn't have a very large one, so it was kind of, we all just meet together and have our individual roles. Seems it's a lot bigger of a structure here. But other than that, I haven't been explored enough of the team to kind of make a definitive, this is what's different, this is what's not.
Yeah, like our IR is very split up. Like we have, I think 3 of the chiefs technically fall under IR. We got our CEO, Chief Executive Officer, CCDO, Chief Communications and Development Officer, and our CMO, which is our Chief Marketing Officer, and just under them, just a whole bunch of directors.
Different subgroups and directors, yeah.
Mhm.
How much, like, our team is really big. That's one of the reasons there's so many different positions. It's because, like, we have such a big team. If we didn't have as many subgroups, that'd be a lot of people working on, like, working in one group kind of thing. Was your team, like, we generally average, like, 70-ish members a year? Is that, like, a lot bigger than your old team?
Our team had about, like the season time when we're in person, it was around 40 people. So
okay, that's still a good size.
It's a good size, but this is definitely a lot bigger, so I can anticipate some of the fact that there's more groups. It makes sense, but it's also just, oh wow, a lot more people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like one of the big reasons that IR like has a lot more people than like ST and stuff, like a lot more leads and stuff, is because like chairman's is really important to us. Like that's what we're mainly focusing on, and that's what usually ends up getting us to Worlds every year. Yeah.
I mean, RST side focuses, obviously their priority is the robot and winning with the robot, but like all of IR focuses on like obviously our like different outreach events and like initiatives and everything, but like the big award for them is the Chairman's Award, and that's always been like our pride and joy is our Chairman's Award.
Yeah, we got to really keep it up because we've been getting it for a long time. I think there's only been 1 year in like the past while that we haven't gotten.
But we've also been around a while, so for us, like, we have a lot to share and talk about that we've done, because
we've gone through a lot.
Been around since 2004.
Hey, yeah. I've been around since then.
Whoa. Yeah, the team is older than me.
So you mentioned that you were the spirit lead this year. Like, do you want to talk about that and maybe like your other positions a bit more that you've had?
Oh, yeah, okay. So as spirit lead, that was kind of what I've worked on, is initially kind of advertised as boosting teams' morale and helping with creation of things for competitions and stuff. Obviously, this year has been a little different. We don't have competitions. So what instead I've been doing is we've created a newsletter for our team. So we send that out every month to our families in the team, involved social media sponsors. Ties in a little with our media and outreach, but I've also been trying to help hold game nights, keep the team together, even while apart. Before that, I was in programming for 2 years. Freshman year, I joined programming. That's where I got my start in the team. And then the next year, I was programming lead. So what I did there was just a lot of it was focusing on teaching the members. We kind of got our start teaching them through the VEX season, because our team did 2 separate seasons. We'd start first semester, focus on VEX, and the second semester was first. So VEX was good for us because it helped us kind of lead in, say, here are the basics of what we're going to be doing, and then by the time first comes around, we have our programmers already ready, and then we get going.
Oh, that's actually like an interesting way of training. It's basically you're more using VEX as a tool instead of an actual like the robotics competition. Like
it was a robotics competition for us, but it was also it was very useful in helping to teach it, because I see VEX as a little smaller scale. A lot of the applications is, okay, this is a smaller scale robot. This is something we can just try this out. Okay, let's start with something simple, and then we carry on into the bigger things you have to do with first.
It's like VEX and FTC are like a very good like transition tool, because if you're going from FLL just to FRC, like that's such a giant jump, and that's what it was like for for a while before we established the FTC team at Alta.
That's what I did. When I was in middle school, we still were doing FLL teams for them. So I did FLL when I was in 8th grade, and going from little Lego robots that were like the size of like a softball to, like huge robots that, like, my freshman year, the robot, when it was fully extended, it was literally taller than me. when it was at its full height. And I'm like, wow, this is definitely different.
Even going from Vex to first was definitely different.
Mm-hmm.
But at any given time, the robot is taller than me. It's not a competition usually.
Yeah, well, I mean, my freshman year, if I remember correctly, the robot was taller than, when it was at its full height, it was taller than a lot of the members. But like, still, it was just going from, Legos to real deal, like metal machines and parts and everything. It was quite the transition.
Oh wait, what year was
About-
your freshman year, Skylar? Like which game?
I think it
Power
might have
Up?
been- Yes, it was Power Up.
Oh, it would have been.
Yep, I could picture the game. I could picture everything. I knew it was something like video game related kind of thing, and I could picture the whole everything. I just couldn't remember the name. Thank you.
All I
Power Up.
remember, I wasn't there for that year, but our team had gone to like the state championship afterwards. So it was October, and it was like the new members' first time kind of seeing first in action. So that was Power Up, just looking at last year's game.
Power Up was a good game.
Do you like how our team is handling COVID? Basically, how we're
Again, obviously you're new.
yeah, you're new, so you wouldn't have
Right.
seen a whole lot of it, but
Right, I can't say too much on it, but I've seen just general structure-wise, I like the way the meetings are held. The meeting time is a bit odd for me because I've gotten used to my team meetings being much earlier in the day, so it's like, oh wow, a lot of the meetings are a little later, but different meetings for everything. It's organized, and I think it's interesting. I'd like to explore more of it.
I think obviously our team isn't perfect. No team is, but I feel like you'll start to like once you kind of see more of the team, you'll see like it's pretty organized. We've every year we kind of like we change things up just a little bit, and we like keep making changes to make us ourselves more organized and everything. I feel like from now compared to like freshman year, it's gotten more organized for sure. Even now during this crazy pandemic time. Though it is kind of annoying because you'll notice as you start to explore subgroups that sometimes the subgroup meeting times will like overlap. So like
Yeah.
technically we are even now we've been recording our podcasts at 4 on Tuesdays. And I have Tyler and I
we
have
have our
meeting-
executive
have
meeting.
at 4 on Tuesdays. And
Mhm.
I also have a communications and development subgroup meeting at 4 on Tuesdays. So I technically have 3 meetings right now, but it is what it is.
Yeah, they tend to overlap. I'm just an executive, so
But I
I've-
mean, a lot of them don't. It's just there are some that like do happen to perfectly overlap. Do you have any questions for us? I mean, I've kind of already before this podcast when I was asking you to, join us today, I had already kind of given you a rundown of the like leadership structure and stuff. It was very confusing, so I mean, I'd understand if you needed another one, but like do you have any questions relating to leadership structure or really anything on the team or even just about Tyler and I? I don't know.
I can't say I do. It's a lot more of just kind of needing to get in there, make the time, and just start joining the groups and seeing what's going on.
I would like to say that one thing that is like, and this is something like I really enjoy about robotics is that you don't have to put that much time into it if you don't want to, but the more time you put into it, the more you get out of it for sure,
Yeah, and I agree with you there. It's just kind of finding time between homework and saying, okay, now let's go socially interact.
Yeah.
yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. I
From
mean,
one mindset to another.
I don't know. For me, like, I enjoy the social interaction because robotics is kind of like, since, because of the whole pandemic and I mean, I like social interaction already, but like, especially right now, because I don't really get it outside of robotics because we can't really do anything. But, yeah, so I like, this is kind of my only social interaction time.
No, I get what you're saying. Even before the pandemic, a lot of my friends were based in robotics. It was always, I come to robotics and I see, okay, look, here's all these people that I know, and this is something I'm familiar with, and just people you're very comfortable around. It's a first family.
No, for sure. That's you'll get. I have no doubt in my mind that you'll eventually get comfortable with people. I will admit it's probably, especially hard right now since you don't really get to, you kind of have to like, if you want to interact with somebody and introduce yourself, you have to go and actually message them like via Slack or.
And that is not my strong suit.
That's pretty awkward. Even I would agree. Yeah, it's kind of much different than just walking up to someone. It's much different than just walking up to someone and being like, "Hi, my name is Skyler. How are you? Nice to meet you."
Oh,
It's a lot
I'm
different.
also I'm the champion of making accidental friends. Most of my friends I have not met by walking up and saying, "Hi, how are you?"
Yeah, most people really don't.
One of my closest friends since middle school, the only reason we're friends is because a teacher forced us to sit next to each other because we were being antisocial.
I think Tyler will back me up on this, but a lot of members on our team, they're pretty awkward and not the most social people as either. I mean, they are, but like when it's because they're all used to each other. They're like you, kind of how you were describing. They're all very close, you know?
I mean, they put us on here because we were social and we know how to talk to people.
Yeah, and we're okay with like embarrassing ourselves because that's one of the other things. If you're gonna be social, you might embarrass yourself sometimes, but it's okay.
It's the best lesson any theater class will teach you.
Uh-huh. Yep.
For sure.
It's fun. Oh man.
So, did you have any other questions for us or anything? Personal, robotics related, school related?
Now I feel like I have to ask a question.
No. I just kind of like talking about myself, to be honest.
Okay. I think
No,
that's
I'm joking. You don't have to ask questions if you don't want to.
Oh, I don't know. I just don't. I'm a very awkward person. Watch me at 3 a.m. being like, oh, I should have asked this. And I'll be here.
I do that all the time. You know, I could tell if this will make you feel more, I don't know if this is going to make you feel more comfortable, but I could tell you an embarrassing story about like my freshman year on the team that kind of basically just sealed the deal. Everybody, I didn't have to worry about my image after this accident happened because everybody well, no, okay. Most people really don't know about it because there was only like 5 people in the shop and they probably don't even remember it. But I remember I was like, oh goodness. It's just one of those things where like, even if people don't remember it after this, I kind of just gave up on trying to be cool. Not that I ever really tried to be cool. That would be
cool.
No one's
being
cool in
cool is
robotics. What are you talking about?
How do you be cool?
I know, but no,
No one is.
My freshman year, one time we were in the shop and there was again like 5 people at most in the shop, like including me. There wasn't a lot of people. And this is our shop. It was like, it's a pretty good sized shop. It's not in the shop we're in now, which obviously you don't really know, Katerina, either of the shops. Take my word for it. We've moved into a different shop now, actually a bigger one, the old auto shop from our campus.
Yeah.
But in our old shop, our other one at the Energy Academy building that we have at Buchanan. So we were in there. It was build season. I don't remember what, like, I just remember there was barely anyone around at the time. Maybe it was off season actually, because either way. So it was freshman year. And then we were like freshman year that at that point, now the team has gotten better about it. But like during my freshman year, the team was not very good at including freshmen and letting them actually kind of do stuff. Each year I've been on the team, they've gotten better about making that something that they do. But otherwise, freshman year, especially for fabrication, and I was helping out fabrication that day, they were always just like, freshmen, clean. And that was it. The freshmen just cleaned and organized. So I was helping clean. And then I was like exiting the shop and there was a broom. There was like a broom and like ladders on the side, like a ladder on the side. Like it was just against the wall kind of thing. And I remember I was like talking to someone and I was walking backwards because I'm a big dumb idiot who should know by now that me walking backwards is never a good idea. So then I walk backwards and I don't like trip over or anything. No, like I somehow kind of turn and like bump into the wall and bump into the broom. And then like I don't fall, I catch myself, but then the broom starts to fall and then like it hits me in the back and then like I trip over and I save myself from falling and I'm I'm past the broom and then I look and then the broom's like falling and then everything else on the wall fell. Like, you know those like shows and stuff where
like a Tom and Jerry situation.
Yeah, so it was like the broom fell and then like this other broom fell and then like this, it was just like 4 or 5 different like cleaning and just, you know, those like supplies just fell
Set it up
all
just
in like
for
a big
you.
mess, and they were like falling on me and on the floor, and it was a loud clap because it was like cement floors, so it was just loud clattering, and it very quiet in the shop at like whatever, I don't know why it was so quiet, but at that moment it was super quiet, and so like you could just hear the echoes because it's a big open room, so it was just echoes of banging, clashing, and then everybody just kind of looks at me like, Skyler, how do you even do that? How did you? They like did it, and I'm like, I don't even know what I did. I don't really understand, but I'm just gonna fix these, and I'm just gonna go. Bye. And yeah. So after that, I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna take this clumsy thing and just roll
Go
with it.
it.
Yeah.
You know what? That's not the worst embarrassment. Falling over is by far one of the easiest ways. I mean, sure, you
It's
look a
more
little.
just the way that I did it. I'm not explaining it well, but I really like, I'm pretty sure the laws of physics say that like that shouldn't have happened. And like every single law to like humanity just says like you really shouldn't have been able to do that, but somehow you did. So congrats on your part, but like you
That
missed.
should make you feel good about yourself. You defied the laws of physics just to be an embarrassment. Come on.
I guess so. That is give myself a pat on the back there.
Seems like you're really like looking back on that memory.
It's I to this day I still don't know how I did it.
All you know is that you did.
I just know that I did.
That seems like one of those things that you forget about for a period of time, and then all of a sudden you just remember it, and then you regret remembering all of it.
I trip a lot. So that's one of the reasons. After that happened, I'm like, you know what? I'm already clumsy. Like, I'm just gonna keep rolling with it. I don't even care anymore. I'm not gonna be embarrassed by my clumsy. That was kind of the day that I decided just in life, I'm clumsy and people are just gonna have to live with it. But like, it's not that I necessarily regret it because again, I've tripped a lot. And I was in cheer before I was in robotics. And I was one of the girls who was thrown up in the air. And let me tell you, I fell a lot in really ridiculous ways. Like not even like regular falling. Like I would fall over girls' backs, tumbling down, twisting.
Your life
away.
is full of cartoon violence.
So I'm very clumsy, and it's just this one was a special one because it just still does not make sense.
I think my one time of mega embarrassment wasn't at robotics, but it was at a color guard practice, and we have these tosses. You just toss the flag up in the air and you catch it. I wasn't very good at it, but I knew how to do it. And one time during a show run, I didn't put enough force in lifting it, and so it came down and it hit me in the mouth. And your eyes are watering because it's that initial reaction of pain, and then a girl drops her flag because she sees your mouth is bleeding, and I'm like, okay, this is embarrassing.
Yeah, and you have to keep going.
Yeah, the show must go on.
Yep, that was, yeah. No, that I remember that kind of stuff happened a lot in cheer, except not quite as like painful, but like, because in cheer, it's if something happens, you smile and you do not stop. Because you could still win if other teams if other teams mess up as well, then as long as you're not the one that messes up the most, then you're generally good. But
you
like
want to be the least bad.
Exactly. But like the thing, like, cheer, like sometimes girls' shirts would go up and you had to leave it. And that was bad. I don't, that never happened to me. Luckily it like would almost every once in a while, but like, I would just pull it down, make it like, whenever we would like put our arms to our sides or something, I would like pull it down. But there was some girls who like didn't have that like privilege. And oh man, those were the worst. Or like with sometimes shoes would come off. And like there was one time I remember it hit a girl in the face. I don't remember. It might have been my shoe. It very well could have. I don't remember. I just remember a shoe hitting someone's face. I sure hope it wasn't my shoe because that would be big because I have big feet. So like, let's hope not.
Like take the shoe into a roof by accident. I was being dramatic and doing what's the you get in the line and you do the kicks. I can't think of the word. The dramatic leg in the air, I just kicked my desk kicks.
Yep. Thank you, Katerina, for answering our questions and talking with us. It has been a blast. So
thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye.
Yeah. All right. Bye. All right. So now we're moving on to our sponsor shout out, and we're going to be talking about Donald P. Dick air conditioning. Donald P. Dick has been involved in HVAC, air conditioning, and solar for many generations in the Central Valley. And they've been supporting our team, and they've given us a lot of money. And yeah, so if you'd like to sponsor us or know someone who would sponsor us, just like always, contact us at contact@team1671.com.
Okay, and so now moving into the Nest News portion of the podcast. So first off, the Daphne and her masks. Daphne is still selling masks for $5. If you would like some, you can contact her on Slack.
So our first booster meeting was like a big success. We had like way more people show up than we thought were.
Lots of
But
people showed
yeah,
up.
lots
It
of
was
people.
awesome.
Our next booster meeting is going to be on March 18th from 6:30 to 7:30. And for more info on how to join the boosters, just
Join the #boosters channel of Slack, or if you're not on Slack yet and you're a parent who wants to have your kid message neighbors, he can help you, or contact one of our coaches and mentors, and they can help get you on Slack. Or Mrs. Peterson, I think, also can help you. She's running the boosters this year.
And right now, ST is working on training freshmen and getting everything sorted out for pods. And like they are having pods right now. So
And obviously continuing working on the robot. That is
they are working on
a
the robot.
given.
And then for IR, just like always, we've been working on the Chairman's Award.
Super, super exciting. Definitely haven't been doing that for a while.
Yep. Shouldn't have been done a long time ago or anything.
No, yeah, but IR is making progress on that
Yeah,
Chairman's
we're
Award
making,
documentation. It's just there's a lot of documentation. So
yeah. All right. Well, I think that's all we have for this episode.
That's it. So until next time, this is Skyler and Tyler
Signing off.